Summer is approaching in Maine, and a sure sign of that is the Maine Summer Guide. Is out from Down East Magazine. It's the May issue, and here with us to talk about it on 207, Editor-in-Chief Brian Kevin. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
So the Maine Summer Guide is always fun. You guys go all over the state, have all kinds of ideas, give readers all kinds of ideas about what's going on, things to do and see. What was sort of the approach that you took this year in putting it together?
We have recently, we used to do a scavenger hunt. In COVID times, we've dialed that back. Love to get back to it someday, but we still break it down by region and try and get a little mix of, like, if you're a food person, if you're an outdoors person, if you're a history person, here's sort of like our picks. Often has to do with events and timely stuff that are happening this summer.
You've got 42 ways to enjoy Maine. We can't obviously touch on all of those. We'll hit just a couple. You focus on Wolf's Neck Woods State Park in Freeport, and a part of the park that people may not be that familiar with.
Well, the cool thing about Coogan's Island is that there's an osprey nest, and so it's one of these rare instances where you'd like to go out and watch some wildlife, but you can actually be more or less guaranteed that you're going to spot some. And so the birders love to go out there. It's along a trail at Wolf's Neck State Park that is accessible, so it's sort of really approachable for just about any level of hiker, and you can sit out there, look at this beautiful kind of classic rock and spruce little island and watch the ospreys come and go, which is a blast.
And one other item that we'll touch on, the Camden Shakespeare Festival, which has been around for a long time, and this year, after a couple of years of change in the pandemic, it's kind of getting back to its roots.
They were able to maintain a summer season during the pandemic, like a lot of places couldn't, because they're outdoors. They're in my neck of the woods in this beautiful little amphitheater just next to the Camden Library. People can probably picture the spot. You overlook the harbor. Yeah. But they hadn't done Shakespeare the last couple of years. This summer is As You Like It, which they do as kind of a period piece. They said it in the, I want to say 1968. It's sort of a summer of love vibe, and they did it years ago. It's a lot of fun.
And it's a gorgeous setting, as you say. That
really
is one of the really marvelous settings you're going to find anywhere in Maine. Let's talk about some of the other articles in there. You got two really interesting ones around the theme of running. One of them is a profile of former Penobscot Nation Chief Barry Dana and what he is doing, which is a remarkable undertaking.
Yeah, and Dana, he's a prominent guy within the Penobscot Nation, as you mentioned. He's also an artist, and he's an organic farmer, and he's an ultra runner, it turns out. He's a multi-hyphenate, I think we call it. And he is out, and has been for a few years, to run the 100-mile wilderness. So trail running, self-supported or with a little bit of support from a team. You try and run the entire 100-mile wilderness, and the author, Jed Coffin, who ran with him, accomplished runner himself, talks a little bit about the culture that has evolved around what we call FKTs. Do you know this? Fastest known time. So it's people that are trying to sort of not necessarily set a record, but kind of set at least their own personal record in some really challenging terrain.
Yeah, and how Barry does it and why he does it, both really interesting parts of that story. One other running story, it's on the Riverlands 100, Maine's only ultra marathon.
So I promise there is some running content in this issue for like you and me. Well, I don't know about you, you probably run 100-mile race.
No, I don't.
For regular people, but there are some great stories around people that are really pushing the limits, right? And so the Riverlands 100 takes place at the Androscoggin Riverlands Park. Kate Miles, the author, Ryan David Brown, the photographer, went out and just sort of enmeshed themselves in. It's a very insular, friendly, clubby little culture of people who are into this sort of thing, and explored a little bit some of the relationships that evolve, among the hardcore race people and like the ATV club that helps them put it on, which are a little bit of strange bedfellows. Even among the racers, this is a race that last year, I'm not spoiling anything here, the two winners came across the finish line arm in arm rather than have one beat the other after befriending one another on the course. So there's just like some great personal stories behind this sports feat.
What do you want to do this summer? What's on your list?
We are getting a Down East team together. I had been to say this on TV. We're going to have to do it to run a relay. It's in here, the Sunrise Trail, the Maine Sunrise Trail Relay. Sorry to the Crow Athletics folks, I'm getting that name wrong. You run overnight 100 miles-ish, give or take, from Ellsworth to Eastport on the Sunrise Trail. We've got 5 Down East writers and contributors and editors committed. If we can get a few more, I think we're in business.
I will let you go because you need to go out for a run this evening.
I can't believe I just said that because it's been a little bit hypothetical and now it's very real.
Now it's happening. You can't weasel out now. Brian Kevin, Editor-in-Chief of Down East Magazine, talking about the May issue, the Maine Summer Guide. Thanks as always. So we've got a link that you'll find on our website with more information about everything we've talked about. Stay with us, back with more in a moment.